This is a new day. This is a new day full of sound, a little bit of light, and expectation. This day has been waiting for you. This day has been waiting especially for you, to embrace you, to guide you. This day has been waiting with open arms, just for you. This is the day we have been given. Let's not waste it. Come now and let us worship together. Please rise and embody your spirit. First hymn, it's in the gray hymnal right in front of you. Hymn 38, Morning is Broken. It's a popular hymn, so I'm sure some of you will know it.
Has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to all of you friends near and far joining us this beautiful first Sunday in June for service here at UUYO and across the Mahoning Valley, the state of Ohio, the country, the globe. We're so glad that you're taking time to join us. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Happy Pride. June is Pride Month. There's lots of incredible things going on to celebrate our LGBTQ plus family and friends, so please use the month to lift up and celebrate those voices and those lives. My name is Sarah Lowry. I'm a worship associate here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Youngstown, and I just wanted to, in addition, welcome you, have a brief announcement. Many of you were able to make it to the Steel Valley Reproductive Justice Coalition's first meeting last Wednesday, June the 1st. And I just wanted to first say thank you to all of you who were able to come. It was quite a stormy evening. It very much kind of swept in with a fierceness and left just as quick, thankfully, with no damage, I hope. But for those of you who were here, truly appreciate your presence and the gifts and the time that you offered. It was the first meeting to accomplish a couple of things. We wanted to make sure that the folks who are interested in and committed to working on reproductive justice knew that there was a community to support them. We have gone to, and I feel silly saying this because I know many of you have been in this struggle much longer than me, but we've gone to countless rallies and we have that energy, but we can't hold on to it. The goal of the Steel Valley Reproductive Justice Coalition is to try to hold on to that momentum and work towards solutions at the local, state, and eventually the national level. We're trying to make what seems like an insurmountable problem something that you can touch, something that you can see, something that you can move. So after this first meeting, we asked individuals if they would be willing to assist with a planning committee. That planning committee is going to review the information gathered during that meeting, which include a very simple question: why did people come? You know, why, after a long day, after a long week, did they spend an hour of their time here to talk about reproductive justice? We also asked people, what did they want to see happen? You know, what change do they want to see? And the last thing is we asked individuals to think about who else are they connected to, because we know we can't continue to do this work just by ourselves. We have to build a community, a coalition that is committed to this work for the long term. So after reviewing that information and asking for new voices to join the planning team, there will be additional opportunities for engagement, again, at multiple levels. We're asking people to share what they bring, you know, not just knowledge about policy and phone numbers to call and who to yell at for what and how frequently, but we also need people who can bake. You know, you can't do much on an empty stomach successfully. We need space, you know, like this church here. So we're asking and trying to build a resource list so that we can support each other in the long term, over the long haul. So again, wanted to express my gratitude to the church for hosting, to many of you who volunteered your time. Kathleen, Jean, thank you so much for helping to make sure that there was childcare and support for folks who are experiencing economic barriers to come and participate. It really is a community that makes a community. And I just really wanted to make sure that you all knew how much your time and contribution as a church family is valued in the broader community, and we certainly hope to continue to build those relationships over the longer term. So if reproductive justice is something you are interested in, and you're interested in getting more involved in the Steel Valley Reproductive Justice Coalition, please let me know. Again, my name is Sarah Lowry. I will be around and happy to talk with any of you after the service. And now for a few other announcements, I'm going to hand it over to Reverend Joseph.
We're kind of a chill group. I kind of like it. How many of you like potlucks? All right, great. We're gonna have so many people here next week then. So we're June 12th, next Sunday, is our homecoming Sunday. Our homecoming was usually in the fall, but delayed because of COVID, only by a couple of years. So we're gonna have a homecoming Sunday, June 12th, next Sunday, and there's gonna be a beautiful potluck afterward. And how is it gonna be beautiful? Because each of you are gonna bring in a wonderful dish. So join us next Sunday. There'll be a wonderful service with myself and Karen Lapidus, and a wonderful potluck downstairs in Channing Hall. All of you are invited. It's not just members, friends, anyone you know in the community. Come, join us, celebrate. It's been a hard 2 years. It's still hard, to be honest, but we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate being able to be together. So join us for that. Let's see, a couple more announcements. Oh, yes. How could I forget? How many of you like a good nosh, or sometimes a drink? All right. A few less people, but I'm definitely one of those. So, save the date. Saturday, June 18th, we're going to have a pub quiz night here as a fundraiser. So join us, hosted by Elizabeth White, Louisa Berger, and Randy Cox. It's $10 for adults, $5 for 13, 18-year-olds, and there will be childcare provided for 12 and under. It's going to be Saturday, June 18th at 7 p.m. 6:15 p.m. the doors will open, and you get a free drink, your first drink, some light fare, and not everyone, people who win will get a prize. And I saw written here, there's a 50-50 raffle, and the winner is forbidden from giving the earnings back to UUYO. I don't know if forbidden, that's a very harsh. But save the date. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be out on the patio or in Channing Hall, whatever we see fit with the weather. June 18th on Saturday. Should be a lot of fun. And save the date, June 21st is the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year. This is going to be outdoors. We have a tradition of honoring the change of the seasons here at this church. And Gary Davenport and many other members of the congregation, Kathleen, of course, our director of religious exploration, will be offering a beautiful set of rituals, very brief, but also just a time for fellowship, food, and celebrating the wonderful sunlight on this longest day of the year. So that's Tuesday, June 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. Is that right? 7 to 9. Good. 7 to 9. If you come at 6, you can set up as a trick. Wonderful. And now I'd love to invite Karen Lapidus, who is our membership coordinator and a beloved member, to lead us in our new member ceremony with Elizabeth White.
So I get this honor all the time of welcoming our newest members. So I would like Jennifer and Joreen and Lola to come up and join me here. And I don't see Rachel today. This may feel like a deja vu moment, because actually we have welcomed these 3 new members. We did so virtually, I think it was March of last year, but we haven't had a chance for our newest members to be welcomed in person. And also these new members have not yet had a chance to sign our membership book. And maybe you don't realize that we have this wonderful membership book that we've been using, not since our beginnings in 1892, but since we have been in this building. So the first signature in this membership book is from 1928. So it's a pretty special document that we have here. And so these 3 have been waiting to sign it all these many, many months. So please welcome new member Jennifer Boyd. And new member Lola Lewis. And new member Joreen Stone.
Of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Youngstown, I welcome each of you into our community of memory and hope. Will you walk together with us, sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership? If you will, say yes. Yes. Members of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of
I am trying to
Youngstown.
drink as much as I can, but
will you welcome these people into our congregation?
Stop this tonight, the drink, okay?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean for when I can go?
Yeah, she's a remote participant. We've all learned about muting this past couple of years. It's a challenge. All right, I'm going to start over. Members of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Youngstown, will you welcome these people into our congregation? Will you reach out to them in friendship, including them in our activities and fellowship? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering that each of us was once a new member? If so, please say yes. Or if you're on Zoom or Facebook, indicate with a thumbs up.
is an important step. I recommend it. But it's only a first step. I charge you new members to grow in your faith. I do, seriously. And more importantly, I charge you to find and share your special gifts with us. Ours is a shared ministry. I don't do it alone. Hopefully you figured that out. I can't. Each of us has a crucial role to play, and we need you. We need your energy. We need your ideas. We need your gifts. Give generously of yourselves, and your rewards will be great. We welcome you to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Youngstown. We can all clap.
So last month, since May is the month for flowers, after all, I asked my colleagues to share their favorite spring flowers. And I received a bona fide, beautiful bouquet of responses. Lilacs, tulips, lots of tulips, lily of the valley, violets, viburnum, bluebells, berry blossoms, blueberries and strawberries, to be more precise. If you were to close your eyes right now, you can almost smell that thick, sweet, honey-like perfume. Or, in the case of blueberries and strawberries, you can taste the literal fruit of that flower's labor very, very soon. In fact, I have on good authority strawberries are already at a couple of local farms if you're looking for some. Nothing like a fresh-picked strawberry. But somebody answered the question a little differently with a broad but declarative and descriptive statement. Their favorite flower is anything that a bee can land on. So this includes many of the aforementioned blossoms, but it also includes often overlooked and undervalued, but still vital to our survival varieties like wildflowers and even weeds. The theme of rediscovering or discovering the beauty and importance of wildflowers, including weeds, is not new. Neither is seeking out and making space for deeper, better interpretations of reality beyond which is seated in our minds as we grow up and reinforced by dominant narratives carefully crafted and force-fed through pop culture, media, and especially social media. But what struck me this time, as I reflected on wildflowers and weeds, is that in spite of all this messaging pushing us to round up our weeds, literally use Roundup on our weeds, and tame our wild flowers, we have the power to push back. And many people have. Though many found the new No Mow May mantra appealing, in theory, it became a bit of another story in practice. But the sentiment that we can make different decisions about our physical spaces that benefit ourselves and bees and butterflies is something we should hold on to. So last weekend, we recognized Memorial Day. which, in addition to memorializing brave service members who sacrificed their lives for their country, is the unofficial official start of summer. So we're not even in official summer, which isn't until, as Reverend Joseph said, June 21st, the summer solstice. So please make sure that you do come here and celebrate the longest day in the official start of summer. But even though it's not the official start of summer, we still have seen a couple of 90-degree days in May. There have been more record-breaking hottest days on record in the last few years than ever. I know that I won't be accused of being a whistleblower when sounding the alarm that we have to do something to address climate warming. And while actions by individuals cannot and should not be the only solutions, large corporations, after all, are by far the worst offenders, these individual actions still have very important roles to play, especially if enough individuals do them. So, what can we do? As with most things, it is recommended that we can start by looking in our own backyards, literally as well as figuratively. So literally, what can we do? We can reduce the amount of mowing we do. We can plant more flowers, maintain less lawn. Yes, rejoice. We can reduce the spraying and killing of weeds. There's a quote, "The only difference between a flower and a weed is judgment." Choose plants when planting that are indigenous to our area. They are the healthier choice for everything that feasts on them, including feasts for our eyes. They are beautiful and striking and so unique. Metaphorically, same rules apply. We can reduce the amount of time worrying and overworking. We can share the joy that we have found with others, and we can hold on to less stress. We can reflect before reacting and make space for unexpected gifts and blessings in disguise. And when trying to solve a problem, we can start with resources and solutions that are closest to us. Sometimes the simple and the familiar often offer wisdom and guidance that we've so desperately been searching for. So my answer to the question, because they always remind me when I ask these check-in questions, well, what's your answer? So my answer to the question, what's my favorite spring flower, was the dandelion. I mean, come on. They look like a million little smiling suns grinning up at you from a deep green lawn. They're smiling at you, little tiny suns. When I was a kid, dandelions were free entertainment. They became paint or dye if you smudged them on things, especially your friends or your siblings. They were free bubbles that you could blow into the wind and watch them fly away. I'm sure my parents loved when I did that each and every time. And they are an edible food source from petals to roots. And by the way, since we are a UU church and coffee is very sacred to us, if caffeine is too much, dandelion root tea is a lovely coffee substitute. Highly recommend. Dandelions, which were originally introduced to North America as a food crop, are not just a food source for us. They are some of the first flowers that pop up once the sun warms the earth, signaling that spring is finally here, waking up plants and bugs and all sorts of critters, including the imaginations of human children. And all these busy beings need nutritious snacks to keep them going. So with so much pain and loss and imbalance in the world today, taking actions and making decisions to heal, to grow, and to restore a sense of balance are critical to our survival, as well as the survival of other living beings that exist within the intricate web of life. So today, let's light the chalice in honor of celebrating the beauty of each flower in each of us, without judgment and with the knowledge that we are all interconnected to each other and the living, breathing world in wonderful and unexpected ways.
Sadly, I am allergic to dandelions. They are pretty, though. So our story today is My Garden by Kevin Hankus. My mother has a garden. I'm her helper. I water, I weed, and I chase away the rabbits so that they don't eat all the lettuce. It's hard work, and my mother's garden is very nice. But if I had a garden, there would be no weeds, and the flowers would keep blooming and never die. In my garden, the flowers could change color just by my thinking about it. Pink, blue, green, purple, even patterns. And if you picked a flower, another one would grow back right in its place. In my garden, the rabbits wouldn't eat the lettuce because the rabbits would be chocolate and I would eat them. If I planted seashells, I'd grow seashells. If I planted jelly beans, I'd grow great big jelly bean bushes. Sometimes in my garden, good, unusual things would just pop up. Buttons, umbrellas, rusty old keys. In my garden, there would be birds and butterflies by the hundreds so that the air was humming with wings. The tomatoes would be as big as beach balls, and the carrots would be invisible because I don't like carrots. At night, the morning glories would stay open, shining like stars, and the strawberries would grow like lanterns. It's night now. Only the fireflies and the porch light are glowing. Before bed, I take one seashell from the shelf in my room and go to the garden. I poke the seashell into the ground. Who knows what might happen? I cover it up with dirt and pat down the dirt with my foot. "What are you doing?" asks my mother. "Oh, nothing," I say, "just working in the garden." The end. Now today, the kids are going to be going for a picnic over at Wick Park. And so parents, if you want to see your kids again, you'll need to come back over to the park to pick them up. But don't hurry.
And as all the kids are headed to the beautiful Wick Park, let's read our covenant together, which is in the order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Each month, we donate all loose cash and unmarked checks put in the offering plates to a nonprofit organization whose missions and actions are consistent with the UU principles and mission of UUYO. For those who are in the sanctuary, there are silver plates near the exits where you can place your offerings as you leave service. And given the challenging circumstances and conversations surrounding Roe versus Wade and reproductive justice more generally, the Share the Plate Committee felt it was important to feature an organization who is offering reproductive health services to people in our community right now. UUYO has been a proud supporter of Planned Parenthood numerous times over the years through the Share the Plate and other various actions and programs, and they deserve every single penny. However, in the spirit of building new relationships, we discovered the City of Youngstown City Health District also offers vital reproductive health services and need our help and support. If you read your weekly newsletter, you can see that the services offered include reproductive health and wellness clinics, including annual examinations, screenings for breast cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer, testicular cancer. There's free pregnancy testing and referrals, low-cost STD exams, and many, many more offerings. Again, holistically trying to support individuals' reproductive health needs. The Youngstown City Health District is also working with City Council to create a women's pantry, which would help people experiencing economic hardship access menstrual products and other items that are not covered by benefits like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. This effort is critical in a community like ours where 40% of Youngstown residents meet the federal poverty threshold. The Alliance for Period Supplies created Period Poverty Awareness Week, which is the last week of May, that shows how serious and significant this issue is. According to their data, 1 in 3 low-income people who need access to these products had to resort to using other potentially unsafe means to meet their needs. UUYO's support for the Youngstown City Health District's reproductive health initiatives will help people in our city access knowledge, services, support, and supplies necessary so that they can make decisions to ensure that they and their families can live full and healthy lives. We will now receive the offering that supports the life of Youngstown, the Mahoning Valley, and our wider world.
You think I'm an ignorant savage, and you've been so many places, I guess it must be so. But still I cannot see if the savage one is me. How can there be so much that you don't know? You don't know. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue-corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. And roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue-corn moon. From whether we are white or copper-skinned, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. Need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint
So while we enjoy some silent meditation for a few moments, we have a beautiful bouquet of flowers already here. So if you don't have a flower, don't worry, we got you. But if you have a flower with you right now during the meditation, you can bring up your flower and put it in the vase in case you have it with you. And just do it very meditatively.
In case you want to wipe your hands. We have some bubbles and some.
Our reading today is an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. If a fountain could jet bouquets of chrome yellow in dazzling arches of chrysanthemum fireworks, that would be Canada goldenrod. Each 3-foot stem is a geyser of tiny gold daisies, ladylike in miniature, exuberant en masse. Where the soil is damp enough, they stand side by side with their perfect counterpart, New England asters. Not the pale domesticates of the perennial border, the weak sauce of lavender or sky blue, but full-on royal purple that would make a violet shrink. The daisy-like fringe of purple petals surrounds a disk as bright as the sun at high noon, a golden orange pool, just a tantalizing shade darker than the surrounding goldenrod. Alone, each is a botanical superlative. Together, the visual effect is stunning. Purple and gold, the heraldic colors of the king and queen of the meadow, a regal procession in complementary colors. I just wanted to know why. Why do they stand beside each other when they could grow alone? Why this particular pair? There are plenty of pinks and whites and blues dotting the fields, so it is only happenstance that the magnificence of purple and gold end up side by side. Einstein himself said that, quote, God doesn't play dice with the universe. So what is the source of this pattern? Why is the world so beautiful? It could so easily be otherwise. Flowers could be ugly to us and still fulfill their purpose, but they're not. And it seemed like a good question to me. So why are they beautiful together? It is a phenomenon simultaneously material and spiritual, for which we need all wavelengths, for which we need depth perception. When I stare too long at the world with science eyes, I see an after-image of traditional knowledge. Might science and traditional knowledge be the purple and yellow to one another? Might they be goldenrod and asters? We see the world more fully when we use both. The question of goldenrod and asters was, of course, just emblematic of what I really wanted to know. It was an architecture of relationships, of connections that I yearned to understand. I wanted to see the shimmering threads that hold it all together, and I wanted to know why we love the world, why the most ordinary scrap of meadow can rock us back on our heels in awe. This September pairing of purple and gold is lived reciprocity. Its wisdom is that the beauty of one is illuminated by the radiance of another.
Each of you is beautiful. Take that in just for a second. Each of you is beautiful. But the source of that beauty is not what we usually think. Norbert Chapek, who came up with flower communion, was a Unitarian minister in Prague. And many of the members of his congregation were Jewish. And this was a time when the Nazis took power. And many members of his congregation did not find much comfort in the Christian communion because they were Jewish. So he came up with a different kind of communion called flower communion, where he said, in a very brief, powerful homily, that each person has a unique beauty, dignity, and gift. But here's the thing. We don't manifest that unique beauty, talent, or gift until we let it go and we gift it to our community. And so he created this communion where he invited each member of his congregation to bring a flower from their yard symbolizing their life, and he asked them to set it in front of the chancel, to let it go, just for a service. And then, at the end of service, which I'm about to do, he asked everyone to come up and bring a flower that is not their own, to take and let someone else's life inform you and become part of you. Chapek lived that. He was brought in front of the Nazis and said, "Do you believe that all Jews have inherent worth and dignity? You say this in your flower communion, that each person has beauty." And they gave him the opportunity to recant so that he could avoid torture. And he said, "Absolutely, I believe that. I've witnessed that." And they took him away to a concentration camp. But here's the thing that's very beautiful to me. We remember him for this. Not for violence, not for torture, because of flower communion. He was a humanist, and he gave his life to something greater than himself, his community. So here's a little thought experiment I have for you as we go up and do this communion service. Imagine that the flower you brought is your life. It's your gifts and your troubles, your problems, and the things that you're proud of. And imagine just for, we only have 5-10 minutes left of service. Imagine that it's surrendered, that you let it go. And now as you come up and grab someone else's flower, be curious. What is this person's life? What is this person's gift who brought this flower? What is this person's problem? And let that touch your heart. And let that influence you. So now, come on up. And take a flower that is not your own. And let a new life inform yours. Yeah, don't be shy. You can all just come up, line up. Please pray with me. Spirit of love, we are so grateful for the beauty of this earth. All the creatures of the earth and sky, our family, our community, our church, strangers. We're so grateful for the bountiful blessings of this time. Thank you for reminders of humaneness in these times. Thank you for a reminder that it is possible to be humane and kind and courageous. All this we pray. Amen. Please rise. Embody your spirit for our closing hymn.
Creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia.
Bright burning sun with golden
beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. Alleluia, alleluia.
Creatures wild and strong, white clouds that sail in heaven along. Alleluia, alleluia. Fair rising morning, praise rejoice. Eyes shine of evening, find a voice. Alleluia, alleluia. Embracing earth you day by day, bring forth your blessings on our way. Alleluia, alleluia. All herbs and fruits that richly grow, let them the glory also show. Alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. All you of understanding heart, forgiving others, take your part. Alleluia, alleluia. Let all things now the holy bless, and worship God in humbleness. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts until we meet again.
As you depart, please remember the one great fact. You are loved and never truly alone. Join us for coffee downstairs.
Hi, everybody. I love that service, but I am a flower that's blooming in the hospital currently, and so I can't really join the conversation.
Oh, Melissa, what's going on?
Oh, I needed a lot of watering with some extra minerals. So
You were
I'm
dehydrated. You were dehydrated.
well, no, it wasn't just that. My sodium was getting perilously low, and I'm getting all kinds of electrolytes and stuff. So anyway, the nurse is here right this moment, so I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll fill you in, but I haven't been feeling bad. So
Yeah, I could fill you in a little bit. She was,
Yeah, did you, Melissa, figure out on Tuesday? I was thinking I would go to the book club meeting at 4 and then at 5, if you're still online.
Well, if we know you're coming on, we will be sure.
well, the pot's easier to remove that side. I don't turn particularly well either way, but I'm.
Oh, Melissa, we're hearing talking to your nurse, Melissa.
Oh, okay. So you know I'm on a bedpan. Everybody has to go hiding.
Oh, yeah. And we're hearing there's a lot of noise going on in the background with your shuffling around there. So, but if you will keep in mind that that on Tuesday we'll stick around till 5, and you can tell us how your book club went.
Is it possible to start Melissa tea with Melissa at 5? Would it be?
Well, what I can do is in case someone that I don't know of that doesn't get the message logs on at 4, I want to make sure that I'm logged on at 4, but I can stay logged on until 5. That's no problem. And because sometimes if there's been no one on, I'll just log on and keep the channel open. And then when I hear somebody yell, "Hey, is somebody there?" I'll make sure that I come over. But there'll probably be a couple of people on, and we'll stay on till 5 because I like to hear how your, the book club was. I think that was of some interest to Melissa and I, that the book you were talking about.
Yeah, they pretty much end at it's probably 1 hour. They usually, my experience with them is it's 4 to 5. But like I said before, it's usually on Thursdays, but this time it's Tuesday.
Now, is that book club on Zoom, or are you there physically?
Oh, no, it's Zoom.
Oh, okay.
I'm Zooming everything.
Actually, I mean, I guess if a book club starts at 4 and there's nobody actually on the church's Zoom channel, if I had the ID to log on to the book club one, I might log on to the book club one in a second window and just to listen, because I haven't read the book, of course. So, and that would, kind of solve the problem. If you go over 5, we'll know. So think about it. Is there